Can woman or man become a woman or vice versa? We're going to watch the video of Cam Higby. I've been watching his video too because this dude's pretty cool, and he's interviewing these blue-haired girl, and it says, according to the title, it says, the moment this blue-haired girl realized men can't become a woman. All right, so you can go to Cam Higby's YouTube channel if you want to watch the whole video, because I'm going to be periodically, I'm probably going to be pausing this to insert my commentary, right? How'd you like my pirate hat, huh? Jack Sparrow style. All right, so here we go. Welcome, by the way.
So my sign says men cannot be women.
Yeah, very inflammatory statement.
Okay. What is your opinion?
Well, I think that a man could be a trans woman, so a type of woman. So yes, I think man can be woman, because a trans woman is a woman.
What is a woman? And that's not a like stupid Matt Walsh question. What is your definition of a woman?
Someone who identifies as a woman is a woman. No. Whether or not they're a trans woman or a cis woman is based on
heat. That's not biology, what it means when they're asking you what is a woman. That's not what it means when they're asking you that. They keep saying that. Oh, gender is a social construct. It do's and this and this. A woman is whatever you feel like. That's not the answer. Scientifically, biologically, well, that's the same thing. Scientifically, religiously, according to the Bible, they have different answer on that. But describe a woman.
They're both women.
So is perception reality? Like if you perceive if I perceive something as reality, is it reality? Or if is expression reality? If I express myself, is that reality? Whatever I express myself as, is that the reality?
Well, how a person
is it fact? Is it based on fact? Reality, yeah.
Expresses themselves, like the name they go by or the pronouns they choose, then that is their reality of their identity. So yes. Whether what someone perceives as reality is another thing, because, people perceive things wrong all the time.
So if I express myself as like a lizard, am I a lizard?
A lizard is not a human being. It's an
animal. Wow. A lizard is not a human being. Okay, then the follow-up question, if I express myself, me, a 50-year-old dark Filipino man, if I express myself as a 14-year-old white girl, that's a human being, right? Right? Would that make it a reality? That's the question. That should be the follow-up question.
Well, I mean, if you dressed up like a lizard, you'd be dressed up as a lizard.
Right, and if you dress up as a girl, I'd say you dressed up as a girl.
This is a conversation about gender, which has nothing to do with animals.
But what's the fundamental difference between expressing yourself as a woman and that making you a woman, and expressing yourself as a lizard and that making you a lizard?
Because expressing yourself as a woman is your gender identity. Expressing yourself as a lizard is you saying you're an animal. Which
your species is a part of your identity.
Yes, but it's not gender identity. Gender in itself is fluid and flexible with like non-binary people and.
But what's the difference? Why is gender fluid and species is not?
Because species is like the animal that you are. Like a lizard couldn't really.
Okay, this is. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go through this video, but this is the conversations. I mean, I get pretty tiring of it. When I watch, because they try to explain it. They have their own definition about many things. What man, women, what is a woman, what is a man, what is an immigrant, what is, a fetus, what is a baby, what is, they have their own definition. I mean, the very own, like the Wikipedia and also the modern dictionary, is already in there. They're changing the thing. The left has won that battle in changing words, right? Even the Constitution, they have different interpretation in the constitutions. And I get tired of that. I'm just so glad that we're done with this hysteria that is not mainstream, because according to the report that the non-binary or gay or homosexual LGBTQRSWXY is actually in a decline, compared to 4 years ago, for 4 or 5 years ago, that it was on high, according to Bill Maher at one point in time, that they looked at stats that everyone's being gay, that by the time it's 2055 we all be gay. But it's just in the decline right now because there's so many things. There's people realizing, wait a minute, we're not, as a society, we're not going to be able to sustain. We're not going to be able to progress when we, I understand that there are gay people out there, been there for many, many years, but they're not trying to control your kids. The trans idea, there's some trans people out there that don't want any harm, or don't want to harm kids, but there are trans out there. They even rally and protest and march and screaming that we will get to your kids, or we want your kids. This hysteria, that the mindset that everyone's going to be gay, and I'm not talking about biblically yet, because that's, I know when I start talking about the things in the Bible, But anyway, I want to continue on though. But I'll see if I'm going to be able to continue this video.
Transition to be a dog because they're completely different species, and
I would argue that men are completely different sexes than women.
Well, see, here's the thing. Gender isn't based on biology. Your species is based on your biology, obviously, and the animal that you are. Sex is biology, but sex is different from gender.
But the definition of a woman is adult human female.
The definition of a woman is adult human.
Oxford, the most credible dictionary in the English language, adult human female is the definition of a woman.
And
female is defined as a person who falls into the sexual category that is capable of bearing children and producing ova. So those two things are inextricably tied.
What about women who can't have children?
Well, they still fall into the sexual category that is capable of bearing children and producing ova.
All right. Yes. Well, a cis woman is an adult human female, but a trans woman is a trans woman.
But they're not the same. A trans woman and a woman are not the same thing.
They're both women. Well, of course, a trans woman and a cis woman are not the same thing, but they're both women.
Okay, so again, they have their own definitions of that, right? The gender affirming, the gender fluid. They say, oh, you can be fluid. You can be a woman, but that's not the woman that we, as a, Christians, as a, that believe in science. That is not the woman that can, be able to give birth, be able to, the different chromosomes and different bone structure, different everything from man. What the danger of that though is those people that have transitioned to a woman, from man to woman, now they want to dominate the spaces of the women in our society. To name the few would be like the sports and the bathrooms, and there's a lot of people who took advantage of that, especially in prisons, right? There's a man out there that don't want to be within the man population of prison. All of a sudden they become a woman, and their gender, so they had to isolate them from the man's prison. It's becoming a problem. Those are the thing. Those are the argument. You can do whatever you want on your private, right? You want to be a turtle for that night, so be it. You want to be a rabbit, you want to be a kangaroo. Again, that's totally different. But if you start hopping around my front yard and kicking my door, then we're gonna have a problem. Those are the argument. So, but yeah, a man cannot become a woman in a sense of you can't have a uterus. If you're a man, born as a man, they can't just implant you a uterus and start having, start getting pregnant. You can't do that. Or have a lower density bone density than the woman. Look at Leah Thomas. There's a lot of them. You gotta have to look it up. Whatever that is, yeah. They should be left alone, and they should leave us alone. How about that? Don't be protesting. Don't be like showing your junk on the street, because it makes everyone look bad. All the gay community makes it look bad. Now people started thinking that is that what the gay people do? No, not all gays, man. It's just those handful and loud LGBTQ, RSTQWN, and whatever. But anyway, I digress. All right, well, check out his video on his website. I mean, YouTube channel, Cam Higby. Higby or Higsby? I don't know. I keep saying that. Was that a Higby? Yeah, Higby. Cam Higby. So get to that. I'll talk to you later. Bye.